Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Epokk, and recently I started playing Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. Now, it was launched as a Founder Edition on September 4th, basically 6 weeks before its official release on October 18th, but if you get it now, you get it for about €10 less than you will after launch. But is it worth it? Now, in this video, I just want to give you my own little first impressions on the game. Now, first of all, I haven't played the earlier Garden Warfare game, so I can't really make the comparison between the earlier games and this one. I've only played the mobile games, which I'm still a massive fan of, and even still play on and off today. Now, in the games, you basically have two sides. You have the plants and the zombies. Go figure. Now, each side has 10 classes, going from pea shooters to acorns who transform into giant oaks with bazookas. You have disco rolling zombies who zap you with electricity, and of course ninja mushrooms. Now, it's fantastic, it's funky as hell. Now, my personal favorite is the 80s action hero. It's a zombie who looks like Rambo with a bow, and the bow is also a boombox. And one of his moves is where he rides a missile launcher. And as he does it, you have heroic music sounding. So it's awesome. I don't know how they come up with these things, but all the designs are cool in their own little way. And each class can also be personalized by choosing upgrades. Now, you get a lot of upgrades to choose from, and you have 7 points. Some upgrades are worth 1 point, others are 3 points, and you get to decide which ones you take and which ones you don't. Now, they go from getting a little bit more health when you kill a player or an opponent, or leveling up a little bit faster. There are a lot of options, but none of them feel very overpowered at the moment. You can unlock a lot of these upgrades just by simply playing the class. There's no pay-to-win kind of attachment to this. I do think some characters are more suited for certain boss fights. Now, I have, for example, no clue how I could defeat a boss who hides in a giant disco ball as a mainly melee attacking chomper. Or as a sniping pirate, I didn't really feel I had enough damage output to deal with a sunflower queen who can heal herself and her constant respawning ads. You can personalize these characters' their looks by buying them with in-game currency from specific vendors, or taking your chances by getting random items from something like a slot machine or whatever you call this. Now, the in-game currency is purely made by finding chests, completing missions in the PvE sections, or playing well in PvP matches. Now, I didn't find any cash grabs currently, but they have announced that there will be some kind of microtransaction store. So there is right now a vendor that is not available, but is already there. But if you talk to him, you won't be able to see any of the items. But in time, he will offer some things that you can buy for something called Rainbow Stars, which is pretty much an in-game currency that you can either earn through going to events or doing weekly missions, or just by plainly buying them with real cash, real euros or dollars or whatever. Now, they do tell you that there won't be some random item you can get from them, so there won't be any loot boxes that you can buy, but you can buy very specific cosmetics only. There is no pay-to-win side behind it, but I just wanted to mention this because it's an Electronic Arts game after all, so yeah, I do think it's great that it's not a loot box and it's just purely cosmetic only. You know what you're buying from the get-go. Anyway, you get to use these classes in either a PvP or a PvE setting. You have currently 2 PvP modes at the moment, being a conquest mode where one team tries to conquer certain strategic points and the other side defends. The other mode is a straightforward team deathmatch. The first team who manages to kill the other side 50 times wins. Now, there's a large variety of maps, and more types of PvP will be probably introduced in the next 4 weeks. Now, let's talk PvE. Both sides have access to 2 areas, one being a suburban town and the other being a very weird forest. Now, at the point of the video, only one area for each side is available, but the others will be launched in the coming weeks before the launch. There is a main storyline where you get to meet very unique characters, going from a zombie Girl Scout to a nerdy sweet corn plant. The main storylines have some similarities that I don't want to spoil for both sides, but they're also quite drastically different. The plant side seems rather hell-bent on safeguarding the humans and destroying the zombies by using strategic points and ideas, while the zombie side seems less strategy and more out of it. The areas are pretty large, filled with stuff to do. They look great, really fit perfectly with the art style for the zombies and the plants. You have constantly stuff to do, going from side quests where you have to escort a giant melon called Mike, to bounty hunts, to solving riddles to get 2 diamond garden and gnomes that you can turn in for rewards. Now, the bosses are really well designed, especially on the plant side in my personal preference. My personal favorite is Old School, which is a disco zombie who tries to kill you from a gigantic disco ball, which is armed to the teeth with rockets and shockwaves and discs flying your way. Now, the bosses have very familiar abilities that you've probably seen in other games, but their abilities really fit their general aesthetic so well that you don't mind it. I do have to mention, some people may take a look at the cartoony art style and write it off as a kid's game, but trust me, some of these bosses can be very difficult and some of these classes have a very steep learning curve, so I wouldn't dismiss this as a very easy game, to be honest. Now, the game has a few more things to offer, like mini games and practice shooting ranges and hidden riddles, but I don't want to go more in depth than I already have. Now, I really like the game, otherwise I probably wouldn't have made a video on it. I actually bought the game because of my nostalgic feelings for the mobile games and the very cute and funny art style, which I'm a fan of. It's very relatable to Dragon Quest Builders 2 and Slime Rancher, which are my current other favorite games. But I found it offering a lot more than you would think. Now, both on the PvP and the PvE side, the areas look great, the playable characters look awesome and playing amazingly. I mean, you feel like a kid in a candy store when you need to choose a character to play. And another favorite part for mine is the unique humor. This should be their main selling point. There are many jokes hidden inside the game, both in dialogue as in some game design choices. The biggest downside right now for the game is that you have no idea what the quality of the other content that they still need to add to the game is. But from what I have seen that they're offering so far, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say it will be the same quality as the things they've already implemented, and that's pretty awesome. Now, all in all, I think it's a game worth giving a shot, but don't take my word on it. I do think you should just check out some Let's Plays and some streams, but I think it's a fun game. Those are my 2 cents on it. So let me know what you think about the game down in the comments below. Let me just know if you think it's a game for you. And, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.